No. Okay. So yeah, where I
Read
was.
it. Let's start with, I'll read it and then you can go ahead and start with it. So we have ethicist. The penalties for drunk driving are far more severe when the drunk driver accidentally injures people than when no one is injured. So I'm thinking like, yeah, if I just get a DUI versus if I kill someone, the penalties if I kill someone when drinking is far more severe than if I just get it pulled over and get a DUI, correct? Moral responsibility for an action depends solely on the intentions underlying the action and not on the action's results. Therefore, legal responsibility, depending as it does in at least some, so at least one cases on factors other than the agent's intentions, is different than moral responsibility. So, Jemmy, what is our conclusion here?
Question is the last sentence, the legal responsibility starting from therefore. Okay, depending on is in some cases, so it's different from the moral responsibility. So
And then the claim that we're trying to determine what the role it plays is the first sentence, correct?
what was that again?
So the role we're trying to determine what it plays in the argument is the first sentence.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So Trish, how do we go about predicting an answer here? What do we think about? You're on mute.
All right, I was trying to find it. Well, I looked at found the conclusion. I then went to what you have highlighted in yellow, the claim, and then looked in the answer choices for something that was corresponding.
Okay, so but corresponding to what? What prediction do we have here? Do you know, what did you predict was your answer? Like what role did you predict what this role plays?
Well, I predicted that although the action is the same, the results in which your consequences are may not. So basically, I wanted to support the claim of the legal responsibility kind of depended on what the results were in the actions. Does that make sense?
So this is so you're using the word support. So essentially this is a premise, right?
Yes.
And it's a premise being used to show, a premise being used to show that this conclusion is true. It's like, hey, this is when it happens. So Jemmy, why did you go with B?
So I thought it was completely supported by the statement following what is highlighted in yellow. So it says like the moral responsibility of an action depends solely on the intentions. So, well, it depends solely on the intentions, and yeah, you would need that one too. Yeah, I kind of see it now, but I thought you could support the green part only by the unhighlighted part.
All right, so why, Mel, why did you not go with B?
Why did you? I saw B and I thought it fit well, and I kind of didn't
read the rest.
Yep.
All right, Mel, why did you eliminate B?
Why did I eliminate B?
No, Mel. Let's go with Mel.
Oh, me. I'm sorry. Me. Oh, because I didn't see it. The claim that the criteria of legal responsibility actions include, but not determines. Because I just didn't feel like that's what I didn't feel like that was like the role it was playing. I kind of knew the conclusion, so I kind of went with what I knew. I feel like it was more. So it was because I feel like I don't know. I eliminated B. It didn't for me. It didn't sound right. Because I mean, I read the conclusion of like what the legal responsibility is, and kind of like the inference that was being made from it. So I just kind of thought D would be the better choice.
Is it the illustration, Nicole?
Yes. Is it?
Yeah, illustration.
It's an illustration.
No. Right, that was the thing too. Like it wasn't at the illustration.
Not an illustration. An illustration is whenever, like, if we would illustrate how this happens. This is an example. What's the difference between an illustration and an example? And this is a minor detail that you can get I also get faster at flaw questions by knowing this. What is the difference between the two, Katie?
I think an illustration, I think just has to be like putting it into, I don't know, like showing an example of it, like putting it into practice. That's how I kind of thought about it.
Like it would be giving us an example is like whenever it's like giving a representation of what this looks like, where an illustration is almost more like it would like illustrate like getting specific example of this happening. So and so did this and this is what happened. Where an example is like you're actually you're making it I guess like illustrations make it clear, or you're trying, it's almost like an analogy but picture format, like, well, this is what this looks like, where an example is more just like a fact. Does that make sense? Is that a terrible explanation between the two?
So wouldn't this be an example then?
Yes.
An
An example would fall into premise.
Okay, yeah. An example could be a premise, which is where I got tripped up. Yep.
Right, and an illustration technically can be a premise as well, technically.
Okay.
But also, there's another reason why B is wrong, though. Who knows why the other reason that B is wrong?
Wait, Nicole?
Gaia, you know why B is
Oh no, I was gonna say, could you repeat, you said the example between the illustration and the example?
Yeah, an illustration is you're almost taking the example and you're drawing a picture with it, or you are showing what it looks like. So an illustration here would actually maybe be, even that would be an example. An illustration would be, it's hard to think of an illustration for what this would be.
I thought an illustration was an analogy, and an example is a.
Well, I don't want to use that word because analogy is another word on the LSAT.
Okay.
An illustration is more so like showing what it could, like what this looks like in practice, where an example is like just an example of something. I'm gonna look this up by the end of class and I'll have a better example of how to explain this, because I'm struggling to explain it without using words like illustration and example in my definition. So why is else's B wrong though? There's another reason.
I think the claim that but are not the same as those for moral responsibility, where the conclusion is saying that it depends on at least some other factors. It's not saying that it's not implementing the same ideas of moral responsibility, just that other factors can be introduced as well.
Right, but B says but are not the same as those. I think it is for not, does it have to, I think the reason is, does it have to include anything? Like we have no proof for that, right? So that would be why it's wrong, kind of like twofold if you think about it, where D, it's just saying it depends on at least some cases for it. Depends on at least some cases and factors other than the agent's intentions. So we aren't including anything where ours is what ours says. So that's another reason why we could cross B off pretty quickly. All right. All right, does everybody have passage number 21 out?